Coming up on today's wrestling news, is Cody Rhodes returning to NXT?
Creative plans for Ricochet's WWE exit revealed.
TNA stars were all over NXT Battleground.
And an NXT program has been dropped cold due to a serious injury.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Right, let's start with the best show emanating from Vegas probably this year. NXT Battleground, that'll rile them up. And by the way, we're talking more all about AEW later on today, so make sure you keep an eye out for that one. But yes, NXT Battleground was last night. It was goated. And off the back of it, there was a little tease from a certain Cody Rhodes about returning to NXT, Hamflett. This week, he tweeted during the show, tagging Vic Joseph and Booker T in it, saying, watching NXT Battleground, curious how my old friend Ethan Page will do against Trick Williams. Actually thinking of dashing down to Florida this week with a gift and to see some old friends. Please God, as if this show couldn't get any better.
Dashing's his old nickname.
Oh, if he does that gimmick in NXT just for banter, I will pop my tits off.
We thought it was important that we reported this story here because a lot of people might have missed that because he used the wrong hashtag, didn't he, of course?
Of course.
What's the proper hashtag for last night's PLE?
I believe if you're going to do the full hashtag, you probably don't have any other space for you know, letters for tweets, but still, it's NXT Battleground. You're grounded! Battleground, but ma'am, you're a winner. Ding, 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 ding.
What's that?
Oh, that bit at the end?
Yeah.
That's a machine paying out lots of money in Vegas, and then you could splash out on a nice hotel to stay at if you won, say.
Could indeed, and that nice hotel could be the beautiful Oyo Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to have to find ways to try and wedge this into all of our coverage now that NXT's leaving Vegas. Leaving Las Vegas! But what a great time it was.
Yes.
More on that across the week, I suppose.
I'd love to see Cody back in NXT, just for the reason of, what's that going to look like again?
I know.
And it's fun that they're not doing this just to, you know, spite AEW for once.
Well, I don't know. There's an NBA Finals going against this week's Dynamite, and NXT's been hot on its tail.
Oh, so I didn't realise this.
I don't think it might just be
you cheeky bastards.
It might be something to that. Somebody else leaving Las Vegas, or more specifically leaving WWE, is Ricochet.
Yeah.
That was as good as confirmed over the weekend. There was reports from PW inside of that he'd given his notice. That was later sort of unconfirmed, then confirmed by the Wrestling Observer as well. So we all seem pretty clear now that Ricochet is on his way. AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, obviously, with massive, massive interest in the one and only. But alongside that, there's now some Fightful Select reporting on his possible exit creatively from WWE. The report says, quote, "We're told creative measures have already been taken to write Ricochet off in the event he does leave. Part of that was him dropping the WWE Speed Championship to Andrade this week's SmackDown Champions. Of course, you might have seen that on X because apparently you're not going to see it anywhere else. However, we were told by sources in WWE Creative that there are already other pitches on the table to effectively write Ricochet off TV if needed. We were told that among those plans include a creative pitch for Raw that would see Bron Breakker take Ricochet out. As with all creative plans, they can often be changed, particularly when reported about. Yes, plans change, as we often say. But yes, Bron Breakker was the immediate one that sprung to mind for me. Of course, we saw him, well, he's taken Ricochet out a few times now on Raw, hasn't he?
Every week he's putting on more and more Kinesio tape.
Indeed, yeah. So we've got this potential three-way match that they appear to be moving towards down the line with Ilya, Ricochet and Bron. You know, it's
double
WWE.
Spear? Yes, please.
It's WWE. Plans do indeed change, and it could indeed be that he is just phased out quietly or something like that, and we maybe just don't see him on television. But yeah, it's interesting that as this exit comes, while that itself might not be surprising, the fact that he's involved heavily in a sort of three-way Raw program does make it a bit weird.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see how they do this. Obviously, previously he'd have lost to every single person on the roster on his way out. Yeah. But my mind, when I first saw Ricochet was leaving, on Andrew Pollard's brilliant news yesterday, and by the way, make sure you check out his fantastic interview with Santana on the channel too. I immediately thought, oh cool, so Bron Breakker's going to spear him so hard he turns to dust. It does feel like the most obvious thing. You've got a star on the rise in Bron Breakker who, you know, will definitely benefit from, I mean, he's already done it, but like literally writing someone like Ricochet off. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like the same atmosphere as it used to, of like they have to lose lots and lots and lots on their way out. No,
I understand the need to maybe put over somebody while leaving the territory in the old-fashioned way. But indeed, you know, if he's only around for another few months, the report goes on to say that it's, you know, all these changes could be expected as the end of the summer. So we're talking about only a matter of months. It's up to WWE just how much they want to try and get somebody over as another wrestler departs. I would just have a Ricochet stood in front of a massive WWE logo and then Bron Breakker spear him out of it out of WWE.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
Where would you like to see Ricochet end up, though? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll give you our answer when we get to the Twitter questions in a bit. But anyway, let's stop talking about the main roster. Let's get back to NXT Battleground. It was great. And there was TNA all over it. Obviously, a brilliant match between Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez on that show. But not the only TNA people that we saw in it. There was involvement in that match by Ash by Elegance.
That's Dana! Ash by Elegance!
The former Dana Brooke, indeed. And Wesley, after that phenomenal triple threat with one of the most ridiculous top rope spots I've seen all year involving Obafemi and Wesley. Wesley got beaten up by Gallus. And Zachary Wentz, aka Nash Carter, tweeted, "We're only one call away." Also in attendance for the show was TNA president Anthony, I should have researched this, Ciccone Ciccone?
Yeah, sorry,
apologies. Executive producer Ariel Schnerer, former Women's World Champion in WWE and TNA Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and Jonathan Gresham were all in attendance, along with a load of UFC stars as well. So hopeful for more of this kind of thing. And shout out to Joe Hendry, by the way, who put over Jordynne Grace in our interview, which is available right now as well.
His name was, well, people were trying to say his name so that he appeared. Wasn't the case at NXT Battleground, but he was another one that was like in conversation. Fight for Selected reported that there were rumours that he might be there, but obviously they went unsubstantiated and all of that. And yes, it does appear like this will carry on this TNA relationship for the time being.
I do hope so.
The reports coming out of NXT from the back end of last week that they were thrilled still with Jordynne Grace.
I know they beat the TNA star on this show.
They did.
You know, it's one of those where they protected us somewhat with the involvement of Tatum Paxley and Ash by Elegance and stuff, and she looked great in there with Roxanne.
She looked fantastic. I'd say that kind of the two of them stole the show, and it does sort of feel as if that they were in defeating TNA champion, at least trying to, as you say, protect her and at least preserve that relationship for the time being. The Rascals one is very interesting. Wesley being in need of two partners to face Gallus, possibly over the for the next NXT PLE, which will be over Money in the Bank weekend in Toronto. It's going to be a hot one, despite being north of the border, but I can't remember the name of that PLE either.
Red hot. It's going to be NXT Heat Wave. I need a hat for this, don't I?
Yeah, I think you do. Everyone needs a hat now, doesn't it? Yeah, it's all good in NXT at the moment, but there's some bad news for one of its key talents at the moment. Gigi Dolin. You may have noticed if you watch NXT closely, and we know some of you don't, that she was involved.
Why don't you?
In an angle with Ariana Grace,
where
they were doing bits about like trying to make Gigi Dolin a bit more ladylike.
She's a lady.
That was sort of disappeared from television without really any explanation. The character of Ariana Grace just seemed to move on. And we've now got the full story as to why. Fight for Select, once again coming through with the news here. Corey Brennan reported that the programme has been dropped cold, it's been scrapped. And Sean Ross Sapp was able to add to that though Gigi Dolin is still with WWE, it's because she's going to be out due to a serious injury. No timeline given yet, it's on Gigi Dolin's knee. She was seen with the knee brace, which should sort of trigger the speculation that there was something serious here. And indeed, she could be out for, well, unspecified in the literal sense. We don't know yet what the time frame is on that. She's been in and around the main roster a little bit as well. She's done main event. She was on SmackDown as part of Toxic Attraction way back in 2022, but was booked for 3 episodes of main event in 2024. So the call-up might have been coming. That too, I guess, has been delayed for the time being while Gigi Dolin recovers. The Ariana Grace skits, as it turned out, weren't filmed near the Performance Centre, which is probably another reason why maybe a bunch of people didn't know the severity of Gigi Dolin's injury or anything like that. The last time she wrestled was on March the 12th, so that's going back a little way now. Of course, she lost to Grace to set up this whole story as well. So get well soon, Gigi Dolin.
Yeah, this sucks whenever you hear about a wrestler going down with a big injury, and especially when there's no sort of specified date for a return. You're worried just how severe that is. I'm annoyed as well because I just love the interactions between her and Ariana Grace, and I felt like there was something there. Fortunately, of course, Ariana Grace out for a while now with a severe concussion.
Oh boy.
If you've seen the clip of her doing the live stream with Stack, she gets bonked on the head by their little board that they had behind them. It's very funny. She's absolutely fine, I assume.
There is some big pops in the Grace Lorenzo household for that one. So
and in the Wilborn household, let me tell you.
And we know, again, they are very different households. Like this, you should yet again do away with the rumours that we hear sometimes. I don't think Stack's impression is very good.
No, rubbish. Can't do it. I just hope Ariana Grace moves on and decides to, make her sister, more of a lady, her sister being Jordan Grace, of course.
Very nice, yeah.
Got the same surname. We mentioned this. Anyway, as I said, we'll be doing more AEW-centric stories a little bit later on today, but for now, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture, WWE, and X, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today about Ricochet comes from Brian George, who says, morning, guys. Do you see Ricochet signing with a company like TNA or AEW, or will he go the Matt Cardona route and just start showing up everywhere?
AEW, I think. This is one of those times where the obvious answer is the correct one.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay was name-checking him lately, and often these things in wrestling don't happen wholly by accident, do they?
Yeah, they had quite a good match. I can't remember which promotion it was for.
It was for all of them, and they're going to do it again in AEW.
WCPW invented it, you're welcome.
They managed it with only 2 ropes, didn't they? And,
yeah,
WCPW, all the more impressive, the one they did here. I think it's AEW. I have already pitched for a reunion of the tag team with Malachi Black, because it would bin off the House of Black once and for all.
Please God.
And I don't know that there is currently space for another singles wrestler to come in and be join that line of what feels about 20 top guys that AEW have got. But the Ricochet match is a massive thing to do, and they will definitely do it.
The tag match would be a tag team picture would be good. A good place to slot him in. I know Sid is a bit apprehensive about any AEW signing anyone else, but particularly Ricochet, because obviously, you bring him in and you need to push him immediately. And I could list 10, 20, 30 guys that they probably need to do that with ASAP. But I agree, Ricochet's one of those guys where you go, that's it, we're not signing anyone else for the rest of this year. Ricochet is available. Well,
yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe in the interim, then maybe they say, you know what, we'd really like you, but we'd like you in 6 months. Can you keep yourself busy for a bit?
Yeah.
He's not going to be short of bookings, is he?
No, and to that point, I think the WWE exit for him is quite well timed. He's had a good, not great run in a company that, once upon a time just wouldn't have been his home.
Yeah.
I think there have been some highs. A lot of them were isolated to his NXT run before the main roster. And I just don't think, even in this changing of the guard within WWE, and even in this Triple H era, he has his moments, capital M, but Ricochet has not really ever been able to put together that sustained run.
No, I think that's fair. He's had mid-card title runs, like you say. A fair play to him for backing himself and going somewhere else, because he could easily just stay there and have that position in the card. He's never going to be absolutely thrashed, but he's probably never going to be world champion as well. So, to just take that risk, I nothing but respect for something like that. Very excited to see what happens next with him. But obviously, he leaves a bit of a void. And Eric with a K, great first name, by the way, Eric, says, with the impending departure of Ricochet, would it be a good idea to call up Wes Lee to the main roster? I mean, you're losing a high flyer. They've got Nathan Fraser down in NXT. Wes Lee's another one. They're not exactly struggling for exciting high flyers in their developmental brand.
No, you've got obviously Axiom as Nathan Fraser's partner as well. This would probably be too soon, but if you, in terms of the flyers where you feel like you're watching the next generation, a la a Nick Wayne with Will Ospreay, there's also Javon Evans making headlines in NXT at the moment. There's always that generation of flyers coming up. I remember a million years ago seeing Pac wrestle in social clubs 5 minutes away from here, doing moves that I'm pretty sure at that point nobody in the world could do, just in terms of how many rotations he was putting in. It's always incredible to see what the next development of that style is. Not to say that Ricochet and Ospreay are get out of the way, yo, but it does move quicker than it ever has done.
I hope we get one more brief run of Braun and Ricochet, because I loved them as a tag team.
What a great unit they were, honestly. Those ones we've mentioned there. Wes Lee at the moment, I think, probably springs to mind because he's not been able to reclaim the North American title, and presumably he's going to do something potentially TNA infused with the Rascals and Gallus. But I would say maybe there's world title stuff for him to get to first in NXT. I would quite like to see Wes Lee and Trick Williams before getting him called up. But indeed, they are, it's, if you see it with the women, if you see it with the flyers, almost with the sort of the tag teams as well, they are clearly looking properly now about WWE and NXT being in sync with one another.
Yes.
People are being produced on NXT to actually go up to the main roster. I know that some of the characters won't be for everybody in NXT or feel a bit cartoonish at times, but that is a developmental that at long last feels like it is designed to actually funnel the talent rather than just watch them go and die on Raw and SmackDown.
Or just nick Mike Bailey from TNA because he's the best.
That as well.
I love that guy.
Yeah, that's it. We need to start considering the TNA wrestlers in the conversation now as well when having these chats. I guess
it goes the other way too. I'm really excited to see what happens there. Anyway, final question today comes from Migwa, who says, why are WWE booking all the local talent as heels for Clash at the Castle? Do they just hate the Scots? Will the Scots cheer Piper Niven or not? Yeah, they've got you. So you've got Drew,
Yeah.
you've got obviously Piper Niven fighting Bayley, and you've got Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn fighting for the tag titles.
Yeah, they might be queuing themselves up for quite a lot of divisive reactions here, but then again, they've made a Rangers-based Clash at the Castle shirt, so if it's division they're looking for, then just sell 100 of them and you'll have no trouble starting some fights outside Hydra. Probably best to get a green and white hooped one on the go as quick as possible for the good people of Glasgow. I don't know. Drew McIntyre is going to be a massive situational babyface for the night.
Yeah, you
That's
had
not
to
a
book
concern.
him like that, didn't you?
I think he might as well put Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn in the tag title match. I think Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are going to be popular enough as baby faces to sustain that, but the prospect of the hometown girls, well, the home nation girls, winning the tags like in near fall, maybe get like a near fall on Shayna or Zoe or something like that.
Yeah, you feel like they're one of those two are going to take the pin, don't you?
Yeah, so like just create that moment before the champions retain. Bayley and Piper Niven is the one for me. I feel like Triple H has gone a bit Route 1 here. I've made my sort of feelings known on the booking of the Bayley title reign on our SmackDown coverage, which you can check out later on the What Culture Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel, or indeed wherever you get your podcast from. He's gone more to worry about the challengers than the champion, which is why I see why he's gone, Piper Niven's Scottish, do that. But Bayley is so over in the UK, beloved over here, as we saw as recently as Clash at the Castle 2022, when she opened the show as a heel and got bigger cheers than anyone on the babyface side. That division is going to be strange to me. I think the others are going to be all right. That one's going to be odd on the night. I just think you're asking fans to choose.
I think they'll love both. I think that's the I think anyone other than Bayley, I'd be very, very concerned, even if they were, the biggest babyface across North America, just because of that reaction. But Bayley is beloved here in the United Kingdom, and I think they've looked at AJ Styles versus Cody and gone, let's just have both people getting cheered.
Loud is loud.
I think Piper fans are going in knowing Bayley probably retains, but they're going to have a great time regardless. And if you want a babyface pop, you just flip her at the end and have her attack Chelsea Green.
It's like boring as well, but it's nice for the families, isn't it? The families and friends that get to see their mates or their family members in this biggest possible stage. It's going to be nice for them as well.
Exactly. They just looked at all these Scottish potential challenges for titles and said, okay. Right, let us know your thoughts on that in the comments section below. Like, share, subscribe. Join us for the afternoon news later on. But for now, why not check out this video right here?